Next week on the David Pakman Show, big week starting with Monday. On Monday, I will interview Monique Morris. We are going to talk about the criminalization of black girls in schools. You might remember a couple of individual news stories related to this, and we are going to look at the topic from a broader perspective. On Tuesday, I'll be interviewing Maya Shenwar, and we're going to talk about why prison doesn't work. I think a lot of us have a sort of implicit understanding of why the war on drugs doesn't work, on why over-incarceration doesn't work, but this is going to be a really specific look at why prison doesn't work. On Wednesday, we're going to talk about the transgender bathroom controversy. And I hate to even call it a controversy because in reality, there shouldn't really be anything controversial about what's going on. But be that as it may, there is a controversy. And we'll be speaking with Valerie Jackson, a transgender woman who has a really great take on why, even if we did what the anti-trans people wanted us to do as progressives with regard to bathroom laws, it still doesn't make any sense. And Valerie is going to explain that to us. And then Thursday, I'm looking forward to this, although I can't really even explain what this interview is going to be about. I'll be interviewing a guy named Eric Gajewski. And I'll give you some of the key words of the interview as he explained it to me, although I don't totally get the entire thing. The end times, prophecy, Catholicism, Christianity, and the apocalypse. I mean, the interview is going to be somehow related to those things. Eric Gajewski says he wants to fill me in on what's going on with the end of the world. And I always love hearing the latest on the world ending, something we don't want to fall behind on. And then on Friday, we will be going back to a classic interview we did with Professor of Psychology Aap Dijksterhuis from the Netherlands. And he talked to us about how people actually make decisions. Sometimes it's hard to understand how Donald Trump is the Republican nominee. How did people actually decide? Do they just not know anything, or are they genuinely bad people, or do they think that this is some kind of joke? We're going to hear our classic interview with Aap Dijksterhuis, where he will remind us, how do people actually make decisions in the real world? And we will think about that in terms of the 2016 election. So if you have any questions for next week's guests, let me know. You can email me through our website, davidpakman.com. And if you have any guest suggestions for the following weeks, also send them in, and we'll try to get some of those guests booked.